to the Buddhist family, Black Power Tribe, Black Panther family, Black Power, Islam, to Moorish family. You record by downloading something called DU Recorder. Do Recorder. And that will allow you to record the video on your phone. It will allow you to record the video. Yeah, Instagram is slowing me down on purpose. 80,000, and they're trying to keep me below 130, 140 mark, which is, that's all right. Whoever gets the truth, they get. Instagram, you can't stop the truth. And by the way, I am blocked. For those of you who are asking me to go on YouTube and go live on YouTube, YouTube has blocked me from going live. I have never gone live on YouTube before, but they have blocked me from going live. I tried it about 3 times, and they said you are not. They said you are not allowed to go live. I said, man, okay. I've never been live on YouTube, but so I guess they're scoping your brother out early. That's okay. So now I'm on Instagram. Yeah. YouTube blocked me. I never went live on YouTube before, but they blocked me from going live. So I'm back here on Instagram. We're going to do Twitter at another point. And then, of course, we're going to do Facebook as well, because YouTube is being a little prejudiced against the truth. I understand some of the things that I say are heavy, but I'm not saying anything that has not already been said. I just may say it in a different sequence. But there's things that I'm saying have been said, or at least most of what I'm saying has definitely been said. So, family, continue to share it out. Remember, all this information is research. It is research. It's not something that I just made up. These are things that you have to dig for, you have to study, you have to go research. So, help your brother out by supporting the research and the content. I'm like an online school teacher, okay? A representative of the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, good brother, striving to be a good brother, striving to be a good representative, striving to be a good black man.
And we begin with breaking news right
Been
now.
doing it since I was 9 years old. It's hard, but you gotta keep going. Making mistakes, keep moving, keep doing the best to help people. So the first thing I want to cover really quick is Trayvon Martin. I'm going to do this very fast because I know a lot of people across the country are watching the Trayvon Martin story. It is being filmed, or pardon me, it is being played on BET. It is being played on BET. A lot of people keep getting cut out. A lot of people keep getting kicked out of my live feed. Dang. Okay, so if you are getting kicked out of my live feed, do your best to jump right back in, because I don't know what's going on, but Instagram seriously has a vendetta against you, brother. All right, at a certain point, I was getting about 1,000, maybe 1,200 viewers. They are really keeping me down. They're trying to suppress your brother. So like I said, I'm blocked from YouTube. I can't go live on YouTube. All right? But Allah's the best knower and the best of planners, and the truth will get out. So I'm not tripping. So let's go ahead and get into this. Trayvon Martin, our young brother, of course, we all know the story. All right? We all know the story about Trayvon Martin. He was murdered in Florida. He was murdered in Florida by George Zimmerman, which, by the way, George Zimmerman has been arrested again. Just so everybody knows, George Zimmerman has been arrested again. He was free, but now he is back in jail. Yes, they still have not just put this dude behind bars forever. That is because his grandfather was a judge. Alright? He was a judge. George Zimmerman's grandfather was a judge. That is exactly why he was allowed to go free after blatantly murdering someone. George Zimmerman pulled out a shotgun, I believe. If not a shotgun, it was a handgun, one of those two, on his own girlfriend before. I think that was a year ago. And then he went to jail again. He's been in jail, I think, 3 or 4 times. But he was free after murdering a young black boy. So, Trayvon Martin had Skittles. He had in Arizona. He had all of these little things. Not a problem. And... oh, 1 second, I had to answer a message. One second. He had all these things that are not threatening whatsoever, okay? Not threatening whatsoever. However, George Zimmerman was given a order from the 911 dispatch. The 911 dispatcher, who he called because he thought he was some kind of OG hood community watchman. This is George Zimmerman, who I'm referring to. And he called 911. He told them there was this thug out here, wearing this hoodie. I don't trust him. I don't know what's going on. And they said, sir, do not pursue him. Do not pursue him. And he said, no, I can't let these thugs continue to do what they're doing. Somebody's got to stop them. So basically, he went after Trayvon Martin, even though he was given a direct order from the dispatcher not to go after him. He did this, went after the young brother, murdered him, and then said that he was standing his ground, when the law states that standing your ground is so that you cannot retreat. You have the option of not retreating, but standing your ground against an opposing force that is coming against you. But George Zimmerman went and aggressed upon and chased Trayvon Martin, which is the opposite of the stand your ground law. So I just want to break that down really quick. So George Zimmerman is back in prison. Everyone right now is watching the story about Trayvon Martin. Walaikum Salam, family. Everyone right now is watching that story. The central time, I believe it started, was at 9 or 10 p.m. And I believe it's still going right now on East Coast time. So here's my point. The stand your ground law was recently observed again a week and a half ago, where a young brother by the name of Marquise McGlotton was murdered right in Florida, in Clearwater, Florida. And a white male murdered him and said that he was standing his ground. Very interesting. He was murdered in front of his 5-year-old son. The mother of his children, his queen, she was in the car with his other 2 children. So he was murdered. The next day, the police chief came out on television and stated that he stood his ground and he was well within his rights to protect himself and he will not be charged. Surprisingly enough, the National Rifle Association, listen to this. This is going to surprise you. The National Rifle Association just came out a couple days ago and they said, wait a minute, hold on. This guy is saying that he stood his ground against Marquise McGlotton and he murdered this man? No. That is not how we framed that law. He didn't stand his ground. He clearly was the person to aggress upon the woman. He started the altercation, so he can't say that he stood his ground. So the National Rifle Association is calling out the sheriff of Clearwater, Florida, and saying that the man who murdered our brother Marquise McGlotton should be brought up on charges. Period. So the NRA is stepping up a little bit now. Interesting. So we'll see how that pans out. But I wanted to give everyone that update. I wanted you to understand that there is something being done, or at least it looks like it, because the NRA was getting hit real hard about that stand your ground law. All right? So that's being investigated right now. The police chief is also being investigated now, and that's being looked at in over 20 states, because there are over 20 states that recognize the stand your ground law. Just know that, okay? Over 20 states. Florida is one of them. I haven't researched the extension or the extent of which states invoke that. So Trayvon Martin represents a number of us. Trayvon Martin is all of us. Trayvon Martin is a brother who was murdered, and he is representative of all of us, black men who are potentially targets. We know this, all right? But let me see here. Let me go ahead and get rid of another person here. Very good. Okay, so next point. I'm going to switch gears. Okay, family? I'm going to switch gears. Feel free to support. Cash App right there. Feel free to support because this information does take time. It does take research and study. Next point. Reparations is something that a lot of people have been discussing recently. Reparations, and what I mean by reparations, I'm not referring to something that everyone likes to just talk about and say, oh, black folks need reparations. I'm specifying. Due to the Geneva Convention, which falls into the World Court, this deals with humanitarian issues. This deals with the United Nations. This is above our local and our state and our federal government. This is world government to a degree, world court, okay? They have discussed I believe, last year, and they have put on the table reparations for the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. Let me say this again. The World Court, specifically the United Nations through the Geneva Convention, which handles human rights violations on a mass scale, they have put on the table the consideration for reparations dealing with the descendants, us, me, myself, you, the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that they are now considering reparations to be given to the 45 to 50 million or more African descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, those of us who are the great, 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 great grandchildren of those who were in slavery. It is now being considered. Considered. And yes, for those who are asking, I believe that includes the Caribbean because they went through the Caribbean. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I want us don't jump too fast, okay? Think thoroughly about this. They had within the referendum, they had within the paperwork dealing with reparations, financial compensation as the last option. Financial compensation is the last option. Prior to that, they were talking about debt consolidation, meaning if some of you have loans from the government, some of you have loans with credit cards or credit companies, some of you have student debt because you had a student credit card or loans from college, they've considered that as one option of reparation, debt consolidation, which I don't know how that has anything to do with what happened to our ancestors, but fine. They said not only debt consolidation, they looked at land appropriation, land to a degree, meaning offering up certain parts of land, they've offered that as another option. And as I said, the very last option is financial compensation. Now, let me just say this before I go into the next point, then we're going to go into the next phase of this. When it comes to reparations, there is a professor, I believe at the University of Nuku'alofa in Canada, a professor in Canada did the numbers. He broke down the math from 1619, but we were first brought here in 1555, and then prior to 1555, our brothers and sisters, the Moors, were here when it was called Turtle Island or Tula or Almorac. Those were some of the original names of this land that we call America. Okay? He did the numbers on this, and what he stated that he found out how much we are owed. This is how much we are owed. As a people, collectively, 45 to 50 million African descendants of those from the transatlantic slave trade, those of us who have our ancestors who were picking cotton. I have family that I know that all the way down the line who were picking cotton, who were in certain plantations. I'm Portuguese partly, so that's a big major part of it. He came up with a calculation and he stated that we are owed, as of right now, a little over $52.1 trillion. If you break that down, 52.1 or 51.2 trillion dollars is what we are owed. If you break that down between the 40 to 50 million of us in this country, that will bring out an estimated 1.4 to 1.5 million dollars per African person or African descendant of those who were afflicted through the transatlantic slave trade. Are we on the same page? Now let me just break this down a little more. Some of us will say, well, wait a minute, that's just paper money. That's fiat money. That's a government IOU. That's not real money. Are they going to give us gold? Are they going to give us diamonds? Let me say this. The government doesn't give a damn about you or me. We got that. That's clear. I'm only giving you the facts, the data, the research, the information, so that one, you know that it's being considered, at least considered. Two, you know that you are not wrong, I am not wrong, and we are not wrong. Three, you know that something is being done about what has happened to us as a people. But four, my personal opinion, do not focus on this government and what they say they are going to do for you or me. I'm not waiting on that. If they decide to do whatever they said they're going to do, okay, great. But until then, I am going to do my best to build the community and to help my people to build themselves. I'm not waiting on the government to do it for us. That happens. I'm not waiting. They have lied so much to where I don't have the time to pray and hope that you're going to keep your word. We never got 40 acres and a mule. We never got anything that they offered us. All of the treaties that were signed, they have destroyed them. They've never honored any one of those promises that they have given us. So until they come through with action, we must involve ourselves in action of building our own community. I pray that makes sense. So those were the facts about it. Those are the facts about it. But as of right now, as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, and as the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us, we must do for self or suffer the consequences. Do for self or suffer the consequences. Someone gave a very interesting question that I'd like to answer. They said, are you an agent? I've had that question a number of times because I'm not dead yet. So in order for me to be a legitimate person who's actually in my community, I must be dead by now. Because what you're saying is a black man who's intelligent should be murdered or assassinated. The most idiotic question that you could ever give is, why are you still alive? You're a smart black man. You should be dead. That is probably one of the most stupid questions to ever give. Your question should be, how are you still alive? Maybe you should ask that kind of a question, because social media is not what made me. I didn't jump on social media and then become known for doing whatever. My work has been in the community since I was 9 years old, and that's why I'm staying. Period. Social media happens to be a tool, and we use this as a tool, but this is not what we use to build everything. Nah, it's just a tool. So for those of you who talk about being an agent, see me in the street, and you will see just how real I am. Ask me any questions, but don't come on social media, because most of y'all who ask those kind of questions are agents. So see me in the street, and I do mean that. Oh, and by the way, for those who like to disrespect the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, this is a quick side break. Don't you dare in your damn life ever disrespect the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Period. Period. I pray we understand that. I won't disrespect who you look up to as a leader. You don't disrespect who I look up to as a leader. Ain't nobody ever disrespecting Minister Farrakhan in my face. Not in my face. And I pray that you don't do it in person. I really pray you don't. Trust me when I say that. Trust me. Just trust me. Don't try it. Don't try it. Give respect and you will receive respect. But you haven't done a goddamn thing ever in your life to prove why you should be looked up to or honored. But that man has given his entire life and has proven that he is at least worth to be venerated and honored and respected. And that goes for every single one of our leaders. So you need to shut your damn mouth when it comes to all this talking. Social media conscious individuals think they've done something because you got a couple likes on some damn videos about information that you're simply recycling from those who said it before you did. Nothing I'm saying right now is new. Nothing you're saying is new. But get in the damn street so that you can make your mark and actually do something to be legitimate. Be legitimate. And never think that a black man who has intelligence and a level of articulation of his thoughts is a weak brother. Trust him and believe. Fighting is not something you want to do. Save your energy for the enemy. Save the energy for the enemy. Oh, we checked young Pharaoh. We checked young Pharaoh. We checked the brother. And I told him over the phone that we need to see each other in person. I told him that. So, back to the real issue. Back to the real issue. Or issues. We have an enemy who has been coming after us for a very long time, and it still occurs right now. So I don't choose to use my power to fight my own brother. I don't give a damn how stupid, how idiotic, how misguided my brother is. I'm not going to use all of my power to fight him. If I got to slap you up a little bit as your brother with some love, then let's do that. That's cool. That's cool. Brotherly love ain't no joke. That's good. That's fine. But my energy as far as taking somebody out is reserved for this enemy. You need to understand that there's a devil within self and there's a devil outside of self. That's what we need to have our focus on. Do for self, build the community. We need banks, we need schools, we need hospitals, we need grocery stores. We don't have time. We don't have time to be arguing over nonsense. I don't give a damn if you don't agree with me, if you don't agree with Minister Farrakhan, if you don't agree with anything that any of us say. You will respect those who have come before you and me. Period. And anyone who disagrees with that, I have no problem seeing you in person. Not a problem seeing you in person, and I will come in peace. But the moment you attempt to disrespect someone in my presence, understand, you will be checked in a damn quick manner, please. Next point. Reparations on this area, reparations in this area. Just a few quick examples. Japan was given $20,000 per Japanese, per head, per person, due to the internment camps. When the Japanese were put in concentration camps in America, as the reparation to them, they were each given $20,000 per Japanese person, and they were sent back home. $20,000 per Japanese person. I hope we understand it so far. Okay, this was in the 1900s, mid-1900s. Okay, now remember, our so-called slavery ended in 1865, right? 1865. Supposedly. Now, just so we know, since our slavery ended in 1865, we have not received any form really of reparation. They will say that it is called, it's funny when people bring this up and they say, well, you guys got affirmative action. No. Affirmative action was for white women. That was what affirmative action was for, number one. Affirmative action wasn't for black males. It was for white women. The Japanese got $20,000 per head. The Native communities, a number of Native communities, as they deserve, they received reparations. Money. Some of the natives of Australia received reparations because remember, the Australians, the native black Australians, the African Australians, were not recognized as human beings until the 1960s by law. The natives of Australia, the African Aboriginals of Australia, the original inhabitants of Australia were not recognized as human beings until the 1960s. They were looked at as plants and animals on legal documents. Mm-hmm. So they were given reparations because they were treated as animals and plants, the same as us. Next point. Let me go ahead and remove this person here. Reparations for Israel. I'm giving us some examples so that we can understand that the government can give this. They just choose not to. They haven't given reparations to Israel since the 1940s or 1950s. They have given them $3 to $4 or even $3 to $5 billion every year. Over the last 40, 50, almost 60 years, they have given Israel $3 to $5 billion every year. Wow. And in 2017, they gave Israel $38 billion. They gave Israel $38 billion. Now, mind you, why is America giving Israel reparations? Why is that? Was America involved in a war with Israel to where they had to give Israel reparations? No, that had to do with Germany. So why are they giving reparations to Israel? Yes, you might want to look at that. That is why we refer to that as the synagogue of Satan, the Khazars, the so-called Jews, the Ashkenazi, those who use the name of Judaism. They use that name. They use the Jewish name. We are the true Jews. We are the original Jews. That is us. We are the Jews. They are Jewish. Whenever you say something that has an ish behind it, that means it is kind of or like the original. So they are an ish. They are trying to be like the original because they stole our history. They stole our birthright. They stole our legacy to a degree. And they even stole some of the land. So they are Jewish. They are not Jews, which we are. Okay? So that's Israel. They were given $38 billion last year. And they are given 3 to 5 billion every year from America. But yet America has yet to give us our due diligence, our pay, our land, any of these things. I just want us to get wise to this. So they owe us over 50 trillion. But as of right now, just know this. They don't have enough money to give 50 trillion because America is over $60 trillion in debt. Now, this is all I'm saying. Yes, I am in the Nation of Islam. Yes, that is the organization. Yes. They are over $60 trillion in debt. So because they are $60 trillion in debt, they do not have the money to not even give reparations to us, but they don't really have the money to handle the normal operation or normal operating cost of the government every day. So they have to borrow money. America has to sell off her assets. China owns lots of the seaports. China owns lots of the seaports. Some of those toll roads that you know about, the express lanes on certain freeways, you know about the toll roads and the express lanes? A lot of those toll roads and express lanes are owned by Spain because America's broke. So she's selling off some of her buildings, selling off some of her businesses, selling off some of the land, selling off the seaports, selling off all of these different things because America is in debt to the international banking families who purchased her. That's just my take on reparations. I just want to drop that really quick so that we can all understand that although reparations is being considered, it's kind of late for them to consider it now because they're on so much debt to where it's kind of like, how are you going to repay us? So the best thing that America can do is to give us land. The Honorable Minister Farrakhan says land. Land. That is the best thing to do. All right? That is the best thing to do. If you would like to join the Nation of Islam, you can DM me. I'm also going to make a post about it tomorrow. So this is what is called the fall of America as you are watching. It is the fall of America that you are witnessing. All right? Next point. The music industry. What does the music industry have to do with this? Why am I going to go into this? Before I go into that, family, this research takes time. It takes a lot of hours. It takes days. It takes years, weeks, months, years. So feel free to support your brother. Cash App, right there. Whatever you'd like to donate. $10, $15, $20, whatever you'd like to donate. I'm giving you the cheat codes so that way you don't have to go study this in all the books over and over. You will study to clarify for yourself. Please do. Clarify for yourself so that you can fact check everything, cross-reference everything. You need to know this information. But because people like myself and brothers and sisters who are out here just giving it to you freely like this, we would love your support. All right? That way we can continue doing this because you need to know, period. You need to know this. Everybody needs to know this. The music industry, all right? The music industry, it went from hip-hop, which was conscious, uplifting, powerful, inspiring, life-giving music. High vibration, high frequency, the frequency of 482 or 432 or 582, I believe. Okay, 432, 482, or 532 or 582 frequency. Okay, you can check those out. But the frequencies were different. They have switched most of the frequencies to 440 now. So when you listen to music back then, it made you feel good. It actually gave you a level of euphoria. You actually felt more inspired. You felt happy. You would feel warm. You would feel like, man, I just love life. Oh man, you couldn't stop dancing. You couldn't stop moving. Right? That's what the frequency was back then. In Hollywood, however, in the late 1990s, record executives were invited to a meeting with private prison owners. Record executives were invited to a meeting with private prison owners. I'm going to say that one more time so that everyone can connect these dots. Record executives, people who own record labels, people who are in a high level of influence when it comes to the record industry, were invited to a meeting with private prison owners in Hollywood. When they had this meeting was about a way by which the private prison owners could contract with, do business with, and connect with the music industry. They found a way, and they stated that the music that has to be pushed, the music that has to be promoted, is music which will encourage criminality, music that will encourage gangster life, music that will encourage breaking into houses, stealing, robbing, murder, drug culture, the over sexualization of the community, the destruction of the family, carrying guns, not going to school, all of this. The music had to encourage all of this because the prisons needed clientele. The prisons needed bodies. They needed this. So after the 1990s, or going towards the 1990s, you saw gangster rap coming up. Late 80s, early 90s. Gangster rap started popping up. And once you started seeing gangster rap, it started switching. It used to be fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the powers that be. Self-destruction. You headed for self-destruction. It went for all of that, right? It went from inspiring all of those things, letting you know about what's going on, the enemy and white supremacy, and fight against that. It went against all that, and it switched to shoot that nigga. I'm a natural born killer. Y'all heard that song by Dr. Dre, Natural Born Killer? Natural Born Killer. When that song came out, shoot that nigga, smoke that nigga, kill that beat, F that beat, choke that beat. It went to everything that we never would do to one another. We didn't, that's not what we would do. That's not our nature. That is not what we were a part of. But the music executives were told in that meeting, and mind you, the record executives were threatened. Just know this. Some of the record executives, the music record executives, many of them were threatened to do this. And they were told after this meeting, you better not disclose any information that you heard. And they were watched, and they were monitored. They were spied on after this meeting. So think about this. Once gangster rap started rising, prisons started to get full. Gangster rap started rising. More black men started getting locked up in prison. Gangster rap started rising. Crack cocaine blew up in the late 80s, and that flooded the community during the 90s and the early 2000s. Gangster rap started rising, and women started getting pregnant. Black women started getting pregnant. Black men started getting murdered. Black women started going to prison. Black fathers were going to prison. Children were getting tossed into foster care. Whole families were being murdered by each other. Gang wars started popping off. Gangster rap started rising. Everything that you could ever imagine. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton in the 90s, following along with the war on drugs from Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, all the way down to Bill Clinton. The war on drugs was nothing but a war on black people. They brought crack, they brought cocaine into the United States because Ronald Reagan was not getting the money that he wanted approved from Congress to fight the Contras in Nicaragua. So Ronald Reagan had to find another way to get money. And that is when Danilo Blandón, Norman Nesses, all these different CIA agents found ways to sneak and smuggle in cocaine from Nicaragua and bring it all the way into the United States. And that is where Freeway Ricky Ross comes in. Freeway Rick. Rick Ross went to court to get the name Rick Ross so that he could get the street credit that was built by Freeway Ricky Ross. Rick Ross bought his street credit. Now, I'm not attacking my brother. I'm not doing that, but these are the actual facts and everyone should know. So the money that was used from the cocaine and the crack being sold in LA specifically to black and brown people that created the crackhead. It created the crackhead. Gangster rap perpetuated it and exploded it, magnified it. So more people started to do crack. More people started to drink alcohol. More people started to smoke cigarettes. More people were doing heroin. More people were doing all of these different drugs that were not only created by the same enemy, but were brought into the community. Heroin was brought in after the war. Heroin was brought in after the war. Crack cocaine was brought in to fight, once again, to make money, to fight against the Contras in Nicaragua for Ronald Reagan, according to their war on drugs. Then in the 1990s, you had Hillary and Bill Clinton, of which the mandatory minimum sentencing came in under Bill Clinton. The 3 strikes law coincidentally came in because crime coincidentally went up because they coincidentally encouraged crime and criminality, drug abuse, gangsterism, and all of this in the gangster rap. Interesting. So you create a law to imprison people for doing the thing that you created for them to do. They created the behavior and then created a law to criminalize the behavior that they created. Does this make sense? So gangster rap perpetuated everything, and it literally fueled the explosion of the prison industrial complex. It wiped our community out. And not only did it do that, but let me tell you what happens when they go to prison. Do you know that, of course, the prison industrial complex is called the prison industrial complex because it is an industry. It is an investment. It is a business. Prisons went on the stock market, which means that if you have men and women locked in prison, you can invest in that prison as long as it has a steady flow of occupancy. An industry is a business. Prison is not there to reform. Prison is not there to resurrect. It is not there to rehabilitate. It is there to imprison, to be invested in, to be a business, a moneymaker for private investors on Wall Street. Next point to add to that, every prisoner has an insurance policy put on them so that when you die in prison, the prison makes money. The prison makes money from each inmate who dies in prison. May I take it a step further? If you die in prison, which, mind you, when you talk about the 13th Amendment, which reads that slavery neither involuntary nor involuntary servitude, and it talks about slavery being abolished, and then it has that interesting little line where it says, except if you are convicted of a crime. Interesting. So all you have to do is to make sure that virtually everything that black folks do can be criminalized. All you do is you create the circumstance in the community, then you make the law to criminalize the circumstance that you created, and therefore you can reinstitute slavery. Slavery was never abolished. It was evolved in language. You're not called a slave today. You're called an inmate. You're not called a slave today. You're called prisoner 1145 on cell block B. And why are you given a number? Because you need a number to not only check for the statistics of the occupancy, but you also need a number to invest in for insurance purposes. May I take it a step further than this? Before I continue, Cash App. And I'm going to keep my finger on that button. Only reason why I say that is because there's too much information I'm dropping right now. Right there, Cash App, support the research and the content. Someone asked, why are they Cash Apping you? For all of the research and all of the content. All the research, all the content, all the research, more so research than anything else. Okay? Next point, family. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm going to take this a little further. So not only do you get arrested, gangster rap, once gangster rap came in, if there was no such thing as gangster rap, to be honest with you, I think the prisons would have less than 50, probably less than 60% of the black men and women, Mexican men and women that are in that prison right now. I honestly believe less than half if the prison system was not supported through gangster rap. So, I'm going to go a little further, if you don't mind. Once again, this is research, so I'm not just talking. This is research. Next point. Cash App family, whatever you'd like to send over. There are over 2, 3, 4, maybe 500 companies that have invested with Monsanto. What is my point? What is my point? What is my point? 2, 3, 4, 500 companies that have invested with Monsanto. These same 2, 3, 4, 500 companies, less than the 500, but more than the 100, have invested and contracted. And you're like, the prison industrial complex. Many of the things that you never imagined, you never thought would be happening in prison, is happening in prison. You like Apple? Any of y'all got iPhones? Apple has contracted with prisons. So your iPhone that you're watching me on live with right now was probably made by your brother, probably made by your cousin, probably made by your uncle, probably made by your friend, probably made by an auntie, your father in prison. And you watching me live on it right now. You like them Jordan shoes? You like that Dell computer you're on? You like Sara Lee bread? You like the license plate on your car? That's an old school thing. You like all these different products? You like all those? Yeah, high likelihood that it was made in prison by someone who you love, someone who you care about, and you was putting money on their books last week, not realizing that the money you put on their books contributed to the company that invested in the prison that houses your friend, your mama, your cousin, your uncle, your father, your auntie, your son, your daughter, your niece, or your nephew. And all these companies have invested in prisons. Nike, Comcast. I mean, there's too many to name. There's too many to name. So just realize that what you are involved in, believe it or not, we contribute to them being in prison. So the more you go put money on their books, sometimes, believe it or not, it's actually not helping as much as you think. But the number one thing that's not helping is the same system, which is this prison complex. But it's supported by the police. But the police are supported by the taxes. The taxes that come out of whose pockets? Yours and mine. Why? Because we pay money towards who? The corporations. All those corporations I just named, from Nike to Dell to Apple, all of these. We contribute to our own enslavement. And that is exactly why the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that we must separate. We have to. We really have to. Spend your money with black-owned businesses. I don't care what you got to say about black-owned businesses. You have not spent your money with all of them. You have not spent your money with all of them. Spend your money with black-owned businesses. There are black-owned phone companies. I know. I'm going to switch over too. I'm definitely going to switch over. I was reached out by a black-owned phone company. I said, really? So they're working on it. It's going to take some time. But there's too much. There's too much, family. All right? There's too much. So what I'm saying is, I'm not going to speak on 401k right now. I need to move on, actually, because I have like 4 more topics. I hope you're all right, family. I hope you're all right. Remember, Cash App, whatever you like to send. Next point. The separation can start now. It's a gradual separation. Stop spending money at their businesses. Stop spending money with their products. Stop spending money on major corporations that help to keep your family in prison. Stop. Do your best to spend with black-owned businesses, black-owned companies. Even if it's islander-owned businesses, islander-owned companies. Jamaicans, the Haitians. That's family, okay? But it's all better than these major corporations that don't give a damn about you or me and that keep our people in prison. All right? Next point. The frequency of music, because once I went into the music industry, my point in that was this. 6ix9ine, Tekashi 6ix9ine, the young individual with the rainbow hair and all that, right? Tekashi 6ix9ine, who just came out with a song called Fifi with Nicki Minaj. This boy, something that I've watched recently is just because you are an artist, you are a celebrity, and your music has reached #1 on the charts. Okay, that's not a surprise. It's not a surprise. Technology is out now. Millions upon millions, over 1 billion people have technology. Okay, it's easy to access your music. Great. But what in the hell are you doing with it? You can change an entire population of people overnight if you promote music that is uplifting, that is inspirational, that wakes people up. And I'm not saying this as a critique and a negative. This is all love. The music that is produced cannot birth another generation of drug-addicted individuals. It cannot produce another generation of weak, spineless, cowardly, zombified, idiotic people who don't know anything about their history, know nothing about their present, know nothing about their family, their culture, their people, nothing. We cannot lose another generation, and it ain't happening. It ain't happening. I'm telling you right now. We can't afford it, is my point. We can't afford it. So I was very proud to see something recently. I was proud to see this. Chris Brown and King Cone. They did a song, and actually, hold on, before I go there, Tekashi 6ix9ine and Nicki Minaj did that song called Fifi. And do you know what Tekashi 6ix9ine said? It wouldn't allow me to upload the video. That's how funny this is. Tekashi 6ix9ine was interviewed about that song. He was interviewed about the song Fifi, and he said, dude, man, he was asked a question. So do you take your craft seriously? Do you take your craft seriously? And he said, nah. He said, no, like really, I don't. I don't take my craft seriously. He said, dude, we were just in the studio. We was joking around. We was just having fun. And it happened to be a hit. He said, man, the stuff we was talking about, what the hell were we talking about? He said, that don't mean nothing. The stuff I was talking about didn't mean nothing. This is what Tekashi 6ix9ine said about his own song, about Fifi. He said, I didn't put no thought into that. It didn't mean nothing. I just did it. I don't care about this. What is my point? The musical industry influences millions upon hundreds of millions upon billions of people. And if you got people running around here putting the type of music out that encourages the degradation, the destruction, the implosion of memory, the over-sexualization of the people, drug-infested, drugs, all goddamn day, then what type of generation do you expect to come from that? What do we expect from that? Are you looking forward to the future right now? And just be honest with me. Are you looking forward to it? Can you sincerely say, man, 10 years from now, it's going to be a bright future for all of us? Can you see that? If you can't see that, then there's a problem, and you or anyone you know should definitely be taking notes and should change the condition. Help to change it. Because as of right now, I'll be damned if I sit here and I keep seeing, oh, we #1 on the billboards, we #1. Who the hell cares? What you're not #1 with God, and you damn sure ain't #1 with the people. What are you doing? I'm not knocking any one of the artists who are doing well. I want you to do well, but your ability to do well is dependent upon how well you elevate the condition of the people who are listening to and feeding into your damn music. You cannot say you're doing well when you're encouraging women to go out here and just have sex with every goddamn body. You can't say you're doing well if you're encouraging young men to go out here and just do drugs, pop pills, shoot each other, kill each other. You can't say you're doing well if you are encouraging children to go rob, steal, kill. Don't do nothing productive with their lives. Go out and just get murdered by any damn body. You can't say you're doing well. You are contributing to our destruction, and you will face the consequences. Trust me when I say this. Every dollar ain't good, and every ounce of money ain't real money. It ain't good money. If you are making money off of the destruction of the people, that's blood money, and their blood is on your hands, and I mean that. I'm warning you. I'm warning, and I'm talking about for Chris Brown, my brother. I love my brother with all the good work that he has done, and recently he has done something very good, and I appreciate him for doing what he did. He actually surprised me. My next point, let me segue into this. Chris Brown and King Combs, right? Chris Brown and King Combs, P. Diddy's son, they did a song called Love You Better, which was a remake of Case, the song that Case did. Um, and I was proud because what they did in that song was they heightened the frequency. They heightened the level of positive energy, the life-giving energy, and they brought back hip-hop for a minute in that song, with that song for the younger generation, for our generation. They didn't talk about twerking. They didn't have no alcohol, no drugs. No alcohol, no drugs. Yes, the song by Case was called Touch Me, Tease Me, that song. And so they remade the song but kept the beat and added a little bit to it. So they weren't talking about no drugs, no alcohol, no none of that. They were saying love you better. They were talking about marriage. They were talking about love. He was talking about being with one woman. I love you. I want to be with you. You my only one. You my queen. It's all about you. That is exactly what we need to be promoting and what we need to be talking about, because our people are going through hell right now, as we have always been going through. But as of right now, we're really getting it. So we have to come together and promote the best that we can. Oh man, look, I was almost done, Instagram. Oh God, I was almost done, man. Oh Lord. Oh man. Instagram just can't. You just can't let a brother get the 1 hour. Come on, I was almost at 60 minutes, Graham. Come on, Instagram. Come on, baby. I was there. I was right there. They did it, man. I was right there. Come on, Instagram. Come on, man. I was almost at 60 minutes, Instagram. I was almost done. Oh, man. Peace to the God, brother Derek, for real. My brother Derek, for real. Walaikum salam, God, man. It's good to see you, my brother. I love you more than you know, bro. And I look up to you more than you know. So you got some brothers out here who are really grinding for the nation. Street soldiers. We are street soldiers, and that brother is a real street soldier. Y'all follow my brother Derek for real. For real, for real. That's my brother. His IG is Derek DERRECK, the number 4, and the word real _ Derek for real. Follow my brother. All right, family, check this out. Listen, I was almost at 60 minutes, but you know what, Instagram, the last time you did this to me, when you cut me off and I was almost finished, I had to turn it up, so I'm going to do the same exact damn thing that I was going to do before. I'm going to turn this up a little more, because I'm going to drop some information on y'all that I normally do, but I have to do it the way I need to do it, on behalf of the minister, on behalf of our people. Got to drop the truth. All right, family? So go ahead, family. Cash App. This is a lot of research, and I want to give it to you. I'm going to go into about 3 or 4 things, and trust me when I say you will not regret it. You will not regret it. Sister, the woman, Seti Bay, you said, so happy to see so many young people follow you. Oh, man, praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. No. We see the young people. See, we real. We real. Yeah, I love those in the older generation above me who came before me, and I love my people in my generation in our 20s and our teens. We all need love. We all need love. You know what I'm saying? And I'm never above those who came before us, ever. Gotta pay respect to all of our ancestors who came before us. Have to pay respect to those in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, all of that. I pay my respect to all of them. Because without you, there would be no us. Period. Peace to my beautiful sister, my sister, Phoenix Arising. Y'all follow her too. Phoenix Arising. PHEN as in Nancy, IXXARISING. Y'all follow my sister. Those of you in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s, in your 70s, any of you who came before us, just know we love you, we appreciate you, and the only reason why I'm able to learn all this stuff is because of everything that you did to get us this far. And by Allah's permission, I will never be an a-hole or anything like that, a narcissist, anything like that. I will continue to be humble, That's the only reason why I'm able to do what I do now. The minister teaches us to be humble. God says to be humble. He who exalts himself shall be abased, but he who humbles himself shall be exalted. I'm going to remain humble. I'm cool because I got a lot to learn. All right, family, let's go into the next piece here. Yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah, big sis, you know I do. I pay homage to my elders. I'm never above my elders, please. It's like me trying to be as crazy saying without my mama. You know, I could still be born without my mama. It's something, it's like that. It's like saying something as dumb as that. Like, man, I didn't need my mama to be born. Like, what? Come on. Y'all don't pay respect to the elders, man. Come on. Okay, family, so. Yes, LeBron is doing something good. So let me go into my next point. Here's my next point, family. Here's my next point. Definitely, Cash App, drop whatever you can, because I'm about to go into some more research. I heard about the, okay. Let me skip to the next point. Those of you who follow the Zodiac, as a help and piece of advice to you, study where the Zodiac originated from. Study where it came from, okay? Study where it came from so that you can understand more of your African roots and African heritage and original ancestry, because the Zodiac came from us, from the original people, the Zodiac. And I'm not referring to the pseudo part. I'm not talking about this thing that y'all see when you look at your horoscope every day. That's not, that is not based entirely off of actual fact, because every person is different. Every person who has a Zodiac, for instance, right now, look, watch this, case in point, everyone's different. So we don't all follow along with the Zodiac sign. Our livelihood doesn't follow along with the Zodiac sign. Let me say it this way. Guess my Zodiac. What is my sign? I want us all to really understand so we can know how to live our life, not based off of what someone else tells us. I wake up in the morning, I look at my phone, a horoscope with some guy or some girl or some woman or some person that typed up what you're going to go through today. This is what your horoscope says today. So they're going to tell me how I should live my life. They have become my God. Guess my Zodiac. So far, I've gotten Sagittarius, I've gotten Capricorn. Nope, I'm not a Sagittarius or a Capricorn. See? I'm not a Scorpio either. See? Nope, not a Capricorn. See? So far, you think I'm a Capricorn, you think I'm a Sagittarius, you think I'm a Scorpio. I'm not a Taurus either. Look at this, look. I'm not a Leo either. I'm not a Cancer. I'm not an Aries. I'm not a Leo. Look at this. I'm not a Virgo. Do you see? This is why following someone else's mentality gets you in a bad place. I'm not an Aquarius. I'm not a Gemini. I'm not a Taurus. Not a Gemini. I'm not a Leo. I'm not a Leo. Keep guessing. I'm a Pisces. There you go. It took about 7 or 8 tries until we got to Pisces. That should tell you right there that following a zodiac, someone else's determination over your life, what they say you are, what they say you're going to do, what they say you are about. That's not your mentality. So you have to live your own life. You can definitely follow along and study and research, and a lot of what these things are definitely have some truth. There is some truth to the Zodiac, but not the Zodiac that we follow today. That's all I'm saying. It's not the one that we follow today, not in America. The Zodiac that I'm referring to is the original African Zodiac. Just like the calendar that we follow today is not the original calendar. The calendar that we follow today is the Gregorian calendar. The Gregorian calendar, which was adopted in the 1500s. So all of this time, the dates that we follow, the days of the week we follow, are all named after different Greek and European gods. When you realize just where your mind is, you realize who controls your life, then you'll be able to pull back and really understand this. Do not allow someone else to dictate who you are, what you are, and what you're going to do, anything like this. Don't ever allow them to take control of your mind. You control your life, period. All right? That was my little piece dealing with the zodiac sign. If you don't know about the Roman Saturnalia, you won't know about the zodiac. If you don't know anything about the Council of Nicaea, because it does tie into it, you will not know about the zodiac. If you don't know anything about ancient Europe, if you don't know anything about astrology, the African original centered area of astrology, the African centered area of astrology, that zodiac, the African zodiac. Hell, even if you know about the Chinese zodiac, that's better than the zodiac that you and most people in this country follow. The zodiac you follow in this country is being mandatorily manipulated by groups of people who want to control you. So if they want all of these different Pisces, all these Pisces to do something crazy, they'll send out a blast on a certain day of the week and they'll say something like, you're going to make a drastic change today. The moon is in your favor, and your decision that you made yesterday will manifest tomorrow. See, things like this, it's very psychological. That's why they spend over $500 billion on mind control through television, through social media, through the industry that goes into your eyes, into your ears, and it controls your eyes lobes, and it changes your damn mental condition. So please do not rely on the zodiac to tell you who you are, what you're going to do, because you will never be 100% successful because it is dictated by someone else's frame of mind. Okay? Just want to make that point. Remember, Cash App your brother if you feel that you are learning anything whatsoever, because now we're going to delve a little deeper into something else, if you don't mind. The police questions, I may be able to delve into that. Okay? I hear the reason you're right in the sense, my reason. Okay, peace, sister. Okay, next point. The NFL. Okay, now I've been hearing a lot of people talk about the NFL. Recently, I believe it was the Cowboys. My Moorish family in the building. Islam to the Moorish family. Islam to my Moorish family. All the bays in the house. Islam. Once again, black power to my Black Panther family. Assalamu alaikum to my Muslim family. Peace, peace, peace. To my Christian family. Shalom to my Hebrew Israelite family. And once again, namaste to my Buddhist family. Free the land to my Aboriginal family. Black power, and much love to everybody. So NFL. The NFL, really quick. A lot of people have been talking about the NFL, and they've been getting a little irritated with what's going on with the NFL. So I thought I'd do a little research dealing with the flag. Because the flag is quite a big issue, right? Like, oh man, they should be able to protest if they want to protest. You know what I'm saying? They ain't protesting the flag. They're protesting what has been represented. They're protesting police brutality. They're protesting these things and these things. Well, let me go ahead and validate. How not only is protesting police brutality or domestic terrorism correct, but also kneeling and not standing for the flag also correct. And also how not only does America violate its own flag code almost everywhere, but during every football game, they violate their own flag code. Do you mind if I go into this? Just let me know so I can delve into this. Please take notes. I'm going to give you specific codes from the United States flag code. All right, let's delve into this. The NFL flag code. Let us go into Section 8. Section 8 of the United States flag code. Section 8, subsection C. Section 8, subsection C of the United States flag code states that the flag should never be carried flat or horizontally, but should always hang aloft and free. Interesting. When they bring the flag of the United States out to every major football game in the NFL, do they not carry the flag flat and horizontal? Do they not carry it like that?
That's against your flag code, Mr. NFL Commissioner. That's against your flag code. To all of the NFL team owners, get the hell out of here with that nonsense. Yes, I can kneel down. Now, mind you, I don't care too much about football. I used to play football. I used to play second string corner and second string safety and wide receiver. I played football, but I don't care for it as a career. I'm not knocking anybody who does for a career, but that makes you a rich slave. You are told to go here, go there, go here, go there, do all these different things, and then you're told that when one of your people gets murdered by the police, you can't protest it. Okay, well, you are on a modern plantation. You are on a field. You're on a field surrounded by a rectangle of white barriers. Does this make sense? So you are a modern slave. You are used for entertainment. You are used for physical entertainment to make everyone laugh, make everyone yell, and make everyone excited. And you score a touchdown, and it's like, oh my God, world peace. World peace has happened because you scored a touchdown. Once again, I'm not knocking you. I want us to just look at it, okay? That's all. I'm not knocking nobody. If any one of you are NFL players, I have some NFL players who follow me on here. Brothers, much love. Much love to you. If you are an NFL player, much love to you. I'm not knocking you. I just want you to look and understand the game that you stepped into, so you have to be wise about how you play the game. But never allow your integrity to be overshadowed by your need for money. Never allow your integrity to be trumped by the need for money, because then you fall into the line of anyone has their price, everyone has their price. That's not what you want to fall into. I'll be damned if somebody tells me shut the hell up, you ain't protesting this damn flag, nigga. You want to play this game, you go out there and play. You want to get paid, you go out there and play. I don't give a damn about your people dying, and you go out there and you stand for this flag. Yeah, the same flag where, yeah, it represents death and destruction. Yeah, the same flag that I helped to hang and murder your parents under. Yeah, the same flag that was carried by the KKK up to the damn state capital of the United States in Washington, D.C. Yes, the same flag that was flown all over the goddamn Middle East and African countries to invade them. Yes, the same flag that is currently used whenever people want to be invaded. And when people see it in other countries, they don't see happiness and freedom, justice, and equality. They see death and destruction. So you are a slave. Just make it plain and known. The only difference is you get a paycheck. But you can't do what you want. You can't say what you want. You can't go where you want. So to that degree, you still are a slave. You're just paid to be one. Okay? So that is a flag code. That's just one. Everyone should study the flag code. If you want to say anything about the NFL, if you are in the NFL, you need to study the flag code. Once again, that code is United States Flag Code, Section 8, subsection C. C as in chocolate, C as in cancer, C as in Carter. Study that code so that you know what to counter with or how to come back at your coach, your manager, when they tell you you can't kneel in protest of this death and destruction and murder that's coming to one of your black brothers, sisters, or friends every 8 minutes. A black man, woman, or child is murdered right now by a police officer in America every 8 minutes. And you telling me I gotta stand for that? So if you want to play the game, if you want to stand up, know the code, know the law, so you can protect yourself and you can keep your contract secured so that you can keep feeding your family. I'm never going to encourage an NFL player to just up and leave, because a lot of people are relying on you, and I understand that. You have family who relies on you, so I'm very realistic. But at the same time, you need to have integrity. Section 8, subsection C, flag code. Study it. Next and last point, family. Next and last point. Speaking of being a slave, remember Donald Sterling? Remember Donald Sterling? Remember Donald Sterling, who was the former owner of the LA Clippers? Remember Donald Sterling? Donald Sterling was the owner of the Clippers from 1981 all the way up until 2014. 1981 all the way up until 2014. And what did Donald Sterling say? What did he say? Donald Sterling, when he was recorded, his girlfriend recorded him in a conversation that they were having. And he said, I feed them. This is Donald Sterling talking about the LA Clippers when he owned the LA Clippers. He said, I feed them. I clothe them. I help them to get nice cars. I do this for them. I do this for them. Right? And it's funny because he's saying all this stuff. And he said, I do this. I do this. He sounds just like a what? A slave master. I clothe them. I feed them. I make sure they have nice cars. I do this. I make sure they have beautiful women. I do this. I do that. He was calling them straight up slaves. Okay. He wasn't lying. He wasn't lying. But let me say it this way. Do you know what a clipper is? Have you ever researched what a clipper was? Did you know that a clipper was a very famous slave ship owned by the Jews during the transatlantic slave trade? And it was called the clipper because it was so fast in the water that when it smacked the water, it made a clipping sound. So the clipper or clippers was a famous name of well-known slave ships. Why did they name a team of basketball players after a slave ship? Was that a bomb I dropped? Did I drop a bomb? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know in the Cash App. Cash App, you brother. Right there. The Clipper was a well-known slave ship. A fleet, even, of slave ships.